ChicagoIANDS for having these events. The reason I'm here is not that I've had a near-death experience, I have not, but I have had a spiritual awakening that changed my life, and that's why I am standing in front of you here today.
Microphone. Yeah, we can't hardly hear you.
Okay, can you hear this? Can you hear me speak? Is this all right now? No?
Closer to microphone.
Well,
Use the handheld. And I'll go around and adjust it in minutes. So for now, use that one. I might have turned it off this year.
oh, it's on. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
So, the reason I'm here today is this spiritual awakening and how it greatly impacted my life, and it opened up other intuitive gifts, psychic gifts that we all have. What brought me here is that, well, part of it is that what I'll be speaking about today is working with your angels. And the way I was introduced that it was time to do my work was through the angelic realm. And I had a friend, I'm Catholic, I was born and raised in the city of Chicago. Had it, as I call it, a normal life like everyone else. You go to school, I went to college, got married, started a family. But when I was growing up, when I was young, a very young child, I had a sister, and my grandmother would come to visit. And as we were growing up, I'm from a large family, so, and you know, if you're from a large family, everyone has a job. I mean, there's no one that just gets up, walks out of the house, and you know, you cook or you clean or you do laundry or you're ironing and all of that. So my grandmother would come, and being very much intuitive, being very psychic, runs in my family. My mother had it, but she turned the ability off because I don't like those dreams. I don't know what those dreams mean. I don't like those feelings. And she literally, if you don't want to deal with it, you just turn the ability off. Her mother had intuitive abilities, and they would always come in dreams and in storytelling. And her mother, my grandmother's mother had it. Her mother before her had it. So it was, you know, I don't want to say it was genetic, because genetics has nothing to do with it. It really is, this is the family I chose to be born into. So, hearing stories about psychic phenomena, hearing stories about dreams and dream interpretation, growing up, I would hear those stories on a regular basis. It's interesting how when you're supposed to hear something or understand something, it happens, because if you ask my older siblings, they never heard those stories. It was interesting that truly, and I have a younger brother, he never heard those stories, but my twin sister and I, we got the stories. And also, who are the two really psychic in the family is my twin sister and I. So, here I'm living my regular life. I'm married, I'm home with my daughter after doing all kind of work and running around and being in the world, being busy. I have a background in psychology, I have a background in customer service, and in working with people, and in having jobs that are very demanding, and being right, being accurate, being on time, and come on, let's move. So then I become the at-home mom. Well, the at-home mom has to learn how to calm down and slow down. And the interesting way that Spirit did this to me was, is it too loud?
No.
It needs to be louder.
Directly in your mouth.
Keep closer to the microphone. Very close.
It's actually very heavy. It gets better.
Talk into the end of it.
Like a hot dog, not an ice cream.
I'm biting on a hot dog.
This one may work.
That's right.
Okay. So, but it was time. It was time for me to do my spiritual work. So the point is, it wasn't foreign for me. The idea of people passing, people being able to come back and get messages, even the idea of reincarnation, because Edgar Cayce was already known and well known. And the interesting thing is, my mother read those books. She would discuss them with my brother, And I would hear the Edgar Casey conversations when my sister and I were in the dining room doing our homework. And I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, well, what are they debating about reincarnation? Like, what's wrong with that idea? Like, why not? And even as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, I'm thinking, where's the question? So now, fast forward all kind of years, and now I'm a homemaker. I have a child, and I have friends who are very much into yoga and meditation. And I had a friend that I knew from work, and she went out east and lived at an ashram for about a year or two. So she came back and she was visiting at my home in the northwest suburbs. And she said, do you ever have readings? And at the time, I had only had 1 or 2 readings from someone who a friend recommended, and this person was very good, and I had to drive to the city to see this person. And I said, they're interesting. And but I really didn't have too many of the ups and the downs of my life. And sometimes when you're really challenged in different ways, that's when you really want a reading. You really like someone tell me a vowel, like I have no idea why this is happening. But, things were running pretty smoothly, so I really didn't feel the need for the reading. So she hands me this business card and she said, I've never worked with this lady, but I understand she's a very good psychic. And if you ever want a reading, I would call her. And I looked, and this lady's in Colorado. And I was thinking, yeah, right, sure. So as it turned out, I wound up having a reading with this person over the phone months later. And the very wonderful thing was we clicked right away. She had all kind of information for me that made sense. And about my spouse, who was the one that was working because I was at home. So that was all wonderful. So I worked with this woman. I would call her once or twice a year and have a phone session. I'm in the suburbs, she's in Colorado. And finally, after the 3rd year, when you have a reading, it's either a half an hour or an hour. And after the 3rd year, I said, okay, well, thank you. Okay, thanks. And she said, wait, are we finished? Yes. Do you have any more questions? No. She says, I have a message for you. What? Well, the angel said it's time for you to do your work. Well, I'm sitting home, alone, in the northwest suburbs, minding my own business, and when someone says it's time for you to do your work, you know how when you know something and it hits you in your gut, like, oh my God, that's right. She said that. And we don't usually talk about angels. We didn't talk about angels. It wasn't, it had never been spoken before. And I literally that was my spiritual awakening, because when she said, the angels are saying, it's time for you to do your work, that so resonated with me that I knew exactly that it was true. So, and I knew my entire life was going to change. And I knew that I had control, but in the big picture, I didn't have control of that. And I started crying. And I, like anyone else would, I said, well, how am I going to do this? Like, who's going to teach me? How are you going to picture yourself as being that psychic, that medium, that person, that other? I said, I don't know how to do this. And she said, you'll figure it out. I said, who's going to teach me? I said, are we going to set something up over the phone and I'll call you and I'll pay you? No. I said, how am I going to learn how to do this? Oh, meditate on it. You'll figure it out. And so what the angels actually said was, we speak through you, through one voice. We speak of purity and love, and we are always there, meaning here. We speak to you through one voice. And as many of you are students of this, many of you do this work, you know that whether it's a guide or whether it's an angel, they get together like, say this, tell him this, tell her that. There's no ego there. It's not who said this or who said that. And that message meant so much to me because as I began learning and buying books and literally doing a self-teaching, really it was just books, I truly had to come back and look at this and think, is this real? Like, what the heck? I didn't ask for this. Well, yes, I did on a higher level, and I just didn't know it. I didn't catch up yet. So what happened was, it really shook me up because I knew my world was going to change, and I definitely knew my husband was not going to like it. We're Catholic. You don't do that. It's like, well, if we're Catholic, we really should be doing that. But the big point is don't do something different than everyone else. Don't make yourself a target. You just stay under the radar and you act normal like everyone else. So to say that, you know, you do readings or you have this information, you're not going to do that. As time went on and I said, can you help me make a business card? He said, I'll help you make the card, but you're not going to give it out. So that's how that went. So that was my spiritual awakening. Now, as she was good to her word, there was no class, there was no teaching. I didn't even bother to ask her, you know, will you help me? So, as any of you would do, if you're thinking, now, you know, you have the knowledge that, well, you know, back in my family, that they did that, and it just came. And it wasn't that it scared me, it was just that you knew that your life was going to change. And like, what does that look like? I don't know what that looks like. So I would sit and I'd read the books like Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. When I read that book, it literally came and the information, I could only read 2 or 3 pages of that because I'm reading it and thinking, wow, that is fascinating. And at the same time, you get this feeling in the pit of your stomach, you're like, you know this. And it's like, oh yeah, I do. So what happened was, I thought after a few months, I thought, well, I can't do this, so I would do my self-test. So I would sit quietly, and you might say meditate, but I just call it sit quietly. I would sit quietly and I'd say, okay, spirit. And when I talk about spirit, you're really talking about your soul, because who's running this ship? You are. And when it says, you know what? God did this to me, this one did this to me, on a soul level, you agree to participate in whatever this is because you are going to learn something, you're going to experience something, and you're hopefully going to be the better for it. So I sit quietly, and because I was truly at home, there wasn't really much going on in my life. So my spouse would say this and this, you know, business, there's always something going on, and someone who works in an office, and there's politics, and all this other stuff, and you know, he had a very good position, and he still has a very good position. And so he'd say something, and I'd sit and I'd say, okay, well, is there anything, and Spirit can tell you what they want to say, so if you're talking to your soul and the higher knowledge, connection to. So today I'll say, if I say God, if I say Yahweh, the divine, source, Jesus, it's all the same. Whatever name is comfortable for you, please, you put that name in. So I'm testing myself, and I'm like, okay, can you please just, is there anything, Spirit, that you can tell me about this, you know, his situation? Is there anything I could know, anything I could share with him? And this is testing me, if I have this connection. They tell me I'm supposed to be doing this, do I have this connection? I don't know, I never tried this. Yes, I have dreams. Yes, I'm a very good interpreter of dreams. Yes, I'm an empath. And that explains a lot about when I was a child, and I can feel things and sense things and be the quietest one in the whole house and not speak. When I was very young, I really didn't speak. And my sister would say, yeah, but she knows, she hears you, yeah. We say yes, we agree, yes, no, blah, blah. I really didn't speak much, and now I realize I didn't talk then because I'm making up for it now. So it's okay, it all works out. So what happened was I thought, you know, I have to test. So anyway, Spirit would give me messages, and at dinner time I would say, we would be talking about, and I'd say, well, whatever happened with this one or that one? It might have to be a whole week later. And I said, well, you know, I asked Spirit, and this is what they said, and I'd have a piece of paper, and I would just give a few sentences of what they said. And there was one time, and there was this person that was giving them a lot of trouble, and I had asked Spirit about this specifically. And the message was that person is going to be, well, he was getting a lot of trouble, but at the same time, he was going to be up for a vice president position. And the person said, my message said, that individual will be let go within 2 weeks. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking, oh boy. He just said that even though the rest of the executives don't want this to happen, this man is scheduled to be the next vice president, CEO. And so when I was at dinner time, I said, well, I got a message, and I said, I don't know, this sounds kind of strange, but Spirit said this, and he said, you are so full of it. No, he didn't like this at all. Did you hear what you just said? Spirit said that, huh? Yeah, right. And I was like, well, I just have to tell you what it is. Well, guess what? Within a week, that wonderful Prince Charming, that the fellows knew, the people that really worked with him, they knew this was not the person that you really wanted to run the company. And no. And guess what? He was privately let go. And they had someone else come in and take that place. And when I said, because when he came home, he's like, you won't believe it. And I just say, Spirit, I was just like, really? He goes, he always knew. And other things happened where I would give him information. But in the first year, I truly was like, this is really hard. This is hard. I am really afraid of where this is going to lead. And so what happened was, I sat down one day, my daughter was in preschool and all of this, and I sat down and I just said to Spirit, I said, if I'm going to do this, I said, you really, and when I say I'm talking to Spirit, I'm talking to my soul, because it's always our soul. We go from our personality, our conscious self, we go to our soul, and our soul is connected to our oversoul, our higher self, our true, all of our God essence, and we just bring as much as we can handle. So I sat there and I said, okay, I need proof. I'm supposed to be doing this. If you want me to do this work, and I don't even know what this work means, you have to give me proof. So I was thinking, I thought, okay, so I had a brother-in-law who I would do messages for, and my sisters. And that's all I ever told. I never told anyone else. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anyone else but my 2 sisters and a brother-in-law. Now, the brother-in-law was older. And the brother-in-law, when he married my sister, he was, his mother had already been gone for 20 years. So we never saw a picture of his mother. We just knew her name. And so he always said, I'll be happy to help you if you want to do a reading or if you want to interpret my dreams, whatever it is, when you have time, sure, whatever. So then I thought, well, who can I do this? So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to use my brother-in-law. So I'm going to call on his mother, who's in spirit, he never told stories about her. It's like, no, it never came up. So I'm going to call on her. So what I did is I sat down, no interruptions, and I sat there and I said, and I'll use the name Miss Smith, Ann Smith, that's not her real name. So I sat there and I just closed my eyes and I said my prayer, because it's nice to say a prayer of protection. If you believe in God, if you believe in Yahweh, whatever that blessing, whatever that prayer is to keep you in a sacred and holy space. And I said my prayer to keep me balanced. I said, okay, Mrs. Ann Smith, in my mind, I could have said it out loud, but I just, telepathy, I said, Mrs. Ann Smith, you don't know me, but I am your son, sister-in-law, and I want you to do me a favor. I would like you to tell me a story, give me a story, something that your son knows and remembers from the time he was, before he was in first grade or younger. Give me something that I never would have heard anything about, which you never did. Give me a story, tell me something that I can go back to him and he can tell me whether or not this is right. So this is my big test. So I sat there. Now, I don't know if I sat there for 20 minutes or if I sat there for a half an hour, or it was just a very short time. So I sat there, I closed my eyes, and I'm just repeating her name. That's like your calling card, like, hello, hello, can you talk to me? Will you talk to me? Will you? All of a sudden, I see with my, you see in your mind's eye, And for those of you who've ever seen The Honeymooners, Jackie Gleason and The Honeymooners, remember? When I see things in spirit, it's always black and white. And spirit will say, oh, this is red, or once in a while they'll actually show me a color. But when I do readings, when I do mediumship work, everything's in black and white. So I'm seeing this in black and white. But if you can remember, if you've ever seen The Honeymooners, and I know they have reruns, it was a family like in the 1950s, and everything, picture everything happening here, and then the camera just here, the camera just, pans this way, and it was like an apartment from the 1950s. There was a refrigerator, a small, brand new refrigerator, those, the white ones that are round, and then a little bit of a counter space. There was a kitchen sink, a little bit of a counter space, a stove. There was a square wood table with 4 square chairs. And so I'm seeing this in my mind's eye, and it reminds me, so that's coming in on the right side, and the left brain's going, wow, that looks like, everything's in black and white. That looks like the Jackie Gleason, The Honeymooners. And so I see this wood square chairs, table, chairs, and so then here comes this short, chubby little boy, probably about 5 years old, and this heavier set Italian woman with a bag of groceries. She immediately goes to the counter, drops everything at the counter. This little boy runs to the table, pulls out the chair, leans on the table, and is like this waiting. She turns around, she takes something out of the bag, she turns around, and then she puts something up on the table in front of him. She turns around like she was preparing something, some kind of food, putting groceries away. The next thing you know, it's like you get a close-up, and here's this little kid, which had to be my brother-in-law, is this young kid, and he's over there leaning like this, and the next thing you know, you see him slap his hand on his face like this, and you're thinking, what happened? His mom's at the counter, she turns around and she sees him, and she's like, oh. And he's like, and she takes him and she grabs him by the arm, pulls him off the chair, they go to the side entrance, they go to the door, they're gone. Picture goes dark. I sit there, I open my eyes. I said, that's it? I said, what happened? Nothing. Okay, so now I look at my clock. I don't know if it was a half an hour. I don't think it was longer than that. I pick up the phone. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. I pick up the phone, he's at work. So I call him and I say, it's me. He says, hi. I said, I have a question. I need 5 minutes. Do you have time? Sure, what? I said, okay, do you remember how I'm working on my my intuitive skills? Yeah. I said, okay. So I'm going to tell you a story. And if it's true, I want you to tell me it's true. I said, if any part of it's right, I want you to tell me. If any part of it's wrong, I want you to tell me. Well, gee, you're making me a little scared. You're like, what are you going to tell me? I said, okay. I said, so I called upon your mother. And he goes, my mother? Okay. I said, and I asked her to tell me a story about a time when you were a little boy, and so that I could relay it to you, and this would be not seeing if I can actually do this work, if I'm supposed to do this. Okay. So I told him the story, just like I told you. Dead silence. I said, well? He said, where did you get that information from? I said, I was talking to your mother. He says, no, really. I said, I was talking with your mother. And he said, oh my God, that's all accurate. Every bit of it. I said, what the hell happened? So he told me that he was about 5 years old, and like every day or every other day, they lived in the Italian section in the city, and your apartment was on the second floor or maybe the third floor, and the first floor were always stores and bakery and grocery and the dentist and the doctor, and you just did all your, everything you needed to do downstairs. And he said, we always did that. We always, like every other day, we'd go to the grocery store and you'd fill up that really small refrigerator. And my mother would, every meal was fresh and just made. And he said, so we always went, and she took me because he wasn't in school yet. And his favorite thing were the kosher pickles. Those big, fat kosher pickles, when they used to be a nickel or a quarter. He said my mother would buy one every time we went out, he says, and she would buy it, and she'd slice it in half and put it on a plate and put it on the table, and that was the chairs and the tables, that was correct. Right shape, they're just a many, all wood. And he said, and I'd eat it, and I'd wait while she was preparing the sandwich for lunch. He said, well, what happened was they went out, and he had told his mother in the morning, my tooth's loose. I have a loose tooth. I need you to pull it. And Mom said, I'm not touching that. When your father comes home, your father can pull that. I'm not doing that. Okay, and she says, just, ignore that. Work on the other side of your mouth today. Okay. So then they went to the store, they came back, he starts eating the pickle, and guess what? The tooth gets stuck in the pickle, the juice, and you know how that has got the vinegar, it goes right up into his gums, burns his mouth. He claps his mouth, they're like, oh, and it's burning, and she sees him. The minute she saw his hand, she's like, oh, the tooth. She grabbed him, ran him down the stairs to the dentist, a couple doors down. That's what happened. And he said, how did you know that? I said, I was talking to your mother. And he said, oh my God, kid, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Now, what happened was, after that, I hung up the phone, and that's when I started shaking. Because I said, oh my, no one taught me that. I didn't sit and train for it, and I did it. So I need to take this work seriously. So that was not a spiritual awakening, but that was so much feeling and knowing your truth about you. That's why I tell you this. So, in all of this was the message from the angels. Who came first? The angels. And I believe that the angels they're in every religion. And whether you believe in angels or not, you've heard of them. You know that, okay, they might exist or they do exist. Angels are angels are an energy. They're a force, but they're light, they're loving. There's like no harm. There is no harm to them. They're always supportive. So if you were going to be introduced to new information, you wouldn't want someone to come out barrels blazing, okay, this is it, this is what you're going to learn. No, you want someone, an energy, information that's gentle and kind and very open, and for you to accept at your pace. And that's what they did to me, and how they helped me. So I've always worked with, and it's not a big deal, and it doesn't need to be a big deal, and it's never a big deal, because all you have to do is begin to talk with them and invite them into your life. So I was very grateful to be asked to speak here, because the first thing I thought of is I can talk about angels, because they're here for everyone. There are more angels here. They call them, legions and legions and legions of angels. And everyone will receive and has access to as many as you need. And so I have lots of information, but I really want today to be experiential. So I'm going to give you this information, but at the same time, we're going to have a short meditation where we bring in your guardian angel and have you sit with the guardian angel to know what that feels like. And if you choose to bring in another energy, if you already work with a guardian angel or archangel, or if you want a family member to sit with you, or if you work with Jesus on a regular basis, or Buddha, or Shiva, call that energy in. So we're going to do that so you can experience it and feel it. And then I have a little more information, and then we're going to have a longer meditation where we call in Archangel Michael, and we sit with that energy. And all of these tools are for us right now, because our world is changing so dramatically and so fast. and there's so much fear around that you can literally, you'll be fine, and then you'll hear something, you'll see something, something will happen here in the United States or some across the world, and all of a sudden we're afraid. Now, in the big picture, the angelic realm, and we do have guides, and maybe some people don't know about guides, so I really want to focus on angels. The angelic realm's here, almost like picture yourself as a boat, and you're anchored. And the energy of the angelic realm can help to anchor you and keep you strong and keep you safe in these, and whether it's in your own home, whether it's your friends. How many people have friends that are going through horrific things and you really can't help? But yes, we can. Because when you pray, when you send those special intentions and prayer, sometimes people go, oh my gosh, we want about prayer. It's not a bad word. And what prayer really means is prayer is you communicating. It's a conversation between you and this supreme being, the divine, Yahweh, Buddha, Shiva, Allah, God, Jesus. And that's what it is. Prayer is, you can take those rote prayers that you learned, you could use those, or you can just have your conversation. There's no wrong way to do it. But in these changing times that we're in stressful times that we're in, now more than ever, to anchor with the angels, because what the angels truly are is they truly are an energy. They're an energy, when you say, oh, I got to give a speech, I got to get up there, it's like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, and you're like, okay, calm yourself, calm yourself. Well, we really can't, because we're too much into ego. We came here with the personalities that we chose to overcome and get through some of our rough spots. And in the grand scheme, the angelic realm is here to remind us that we are not physical beings. I'm not just this person. I'm not just this body. I'm not just this image. There's more to me. The wonderful thing I like, and I think the reason my soul, I want to say spirit, I think the reason my soul said, yeah, go ahead. Give her the mediumship first. Show her. Show her what she can do. Was because you can't see that. You can't feel it, you can't touch it. And unless you have someone that you can really say, prove it, which thank goodness I had this older brother-in-law, because I wasn't going to ask my parents for a story. I'd have too many questions. I'd probably have them saying, oh, you don't want to do that. Well, my mother would. She's the one that turned hers off, right? Thank goodness for him. So today's about the angelic realm. So I would just like you to listen to some of the things that I've learned and I understand about angels. I want to give you a bigger, fuller picture of them, and then we're going to experience them. So angels are a divine energy. They are, we are part of Creator. And you've heard this. And the other part about our humanness is we always think, well, everyone else can pray and they'll get answers, not me. Or I don't know how to do this, I won't do it right. We have to let that go. That's your ego saying, I can't. And the thing is, yes, you can, and yes, you have every right to do this because everyone has an angel. Angels are divine energy from Creator, and they're here to support us right here, right now. So when you call on them, if you truly are open, let me see. And when you sit with that energy, you do feel better. You do feel balanced. You balance your own energy. There are times when you can sit and say, you know what, I really need to, and I say gather myself. I really need to just, get it together before I have to do this. Maybe you have a presentation. Maybe you have a new job. Maybe you have a new boss. Maybe you have a boss that you really can't stand. Maybe you have, a part of your job you really can't stand. Maybe we've got all kinds of things that we have to deal with, but we need to deal with them. The other part of it is when you get over yourself, get over our ego self, which is truly the higher and better. I want to do things for my highest and best. And you say, you know what? I'm going to stop being such a crap. I'm going to stop giving this one a hard time. I don't need to do this anymore. you've just elevated, you've just raised your vibration, you're becoming more and more of your true spiritual being. That's what the angelic realm is here to help you do. Everyone has at least, and some of the stuff you're going to say, I know. Everyone has at least one angel that you've come in with. It's your guardian angel. Your guardian angel knows everything about you. There's nothing the guardian angel doesn't know about you. It knows its positive, your positives and your negatives. It knows why you're here, what you're working on. That angel has been with you from the time of conception. That angel will, when you pass and leave the physical body and go into spirit, that angel will escort you to what we're calling the other side. Now, angels really, you don't always hear about angels in the near-death experience because it's usually a relative that's there. You see a relative that's there waiting for you. You hear that, but guess what? And the angels have no ego. They're in the back. But that angel will not leave you until you have finished this physical life. Okay. The thing about the angelic realm is you have to invite them in. Because I have worked with people that said, if I have a goddamn guardian angel, I want to see it. You think that's going to happen? No. Why? One, because that person would not be open to it. And two, that person has not allowed, because we all have free will, that person has not allowed that energy to work with it and acknowledge the presence of that energy. So you do have to say, you know what, okay, if I do have a guardian angel, thanks for being here. I allow you to come in and be part of my life. And you only have to do it once, but you need to be sincere, okay? That what the angels want of us, they ask us to do is to give them permission to be with us. They ask us to claim our happiness now. And when they say that, what they're saying is like, stop worrying about the past or being angry about the past or feeling less than from the past. Stop worrying about the future, because you can't control that. If you're really present right here and right now, are you okay? Are you physically okay? Is anyone hurting you? Are you suffering? Can you be happy with what's happening right here and right now? Yeah. Can you be grateful? And there's many things in this lifetime, if we can really overcome and get through about being forgiving of others, being grateful for what we have, kindness to one another, that's it. That's all that's asked of us, but can we live it on a regular basis? That's our spiritual growth. The angels want us to ask them, invite them in to work with you. And that also means times when you're working on the big project and you go, gosh, I can't figure this out. You can say, as I do. And I know we work with more than one. Okay, I really need help here. I need the words. Someone give me the words or give me some insights. Now, do you hear things? Do you see things? No, not really. There are some people who hear and see things right away, but you'll get an inspiration. I'm skipping ahead. The angels can inspire you by dreams. They can inspire you by words and pictures. They can inspire you by flash information, like, oh my God, where did I get that? Oh my gosh, that's going to work. Those are different ways that angels work with you, and also your intuition. What the angels say about humanity is that worrying means you don't have faith. When you worry, that means you don't have faith in yourself or your connection with spirit. With spirit meaning your soul, your creator. You're not having faith. They also say that when you are in gratitude, that we're releasing our own self-pity and self-doubt. They want you to know that your intuition is greatest when you open your soul and your heart and you allow your intuition to come in. What is the best? I'm angry about this. I really don't want to give that much. I don't want to do that much. But when you say, all right, now wait. And allow your soul and your heart to open what's really best and do what's best for not only you, but for the good for all. Your angels can help you and support you. That's when you're doing your best. that when we, as humanity, support one another in loving and kind ways, by being honest and kind and forgiving, that's when we reach our goal. That's when we grow spiritually. My page is mixed up. So, what the more that you work with the angelic realm, the more you grow spiritually. And what they say is that our busyness, we've become overly busy. We're attached to our cell phones. We have to check the email. We need to know if we're connected on Facebook and Twitter, and that's all a distraction. And a lot of that really is just busyness. Because a lot of that information, it's like, well, it's nice, but it's not necessary. And they also want you to know that there is nothing, when you ask for assistance, you ask for help, there's nothing that you could ask for that's, that you couldn't be asking for. Now, they're not going to say, yeah, go ahead, keep asking to be the millionaire, because if you're meant to be the millionaire and win a lottery, you will. But, if you're really asking what's in your highest and best good, it's not always about money. It's about you being the best person that you can be. And they're there to help you and to be strong for you like that. To trust your intuition. Your intuition is your best advisor. And that is so true because, and I'm sure you all experience this, there are times when you have something and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And you ask this friend and that friend and that friend, and you want to ask the ones that will agree with you more. But sometimes if you really are quiet and you sit and you just ask, okay, so really, what really should I do? What is in my best good? And you listen to the intuition, everything might say, no, this is the way to go. But when your intuition says, no, that's just not going to work, you really need to let go of that and move this way, and you trust your intuition, you will find in the grand scheme that it was better that you went this way, because your intuition is part of that's your soul. That's what's the information that you're bringing down from your soul. What you bring from your soul is the information that you've had from other past lives, where you may have gone through this scenario in other past lives. So when you listen to your intuition, you're saying, I'm believing that there's more than this physical existence, than this just one lifetime. I'm tapping into greater aspects of myself and Creator. And you're trusting in that. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have, I'm calling this a centering, strengthening meditation. And it's only going to be 5 minutes. And what I'd like us to do is, I won't have any music, we're just going to sit here. But you'll be guided as I will be guiding you. And I'm going to put my little timer on, so it's 5 minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to call in our guardian angels. And if you'd like to participate, please do. And if you choose not to participate, you might just want to close your eyes and rest. So the purpose of this, and anything you remember here, anything you learn here today, please know that, please do this at home, do this wherever you're comfortable doing this. You can always make these are just ideas for you to make your own. My words, they're to be your words. However you phrase things, however you feel that it should be, it's perfectly okay for you. So this is just a sample. The purpose of this is, one, to acknowledge your guardian angel, because your guardian angel is really there to help you, protect you, keep you safe, but to strengthen you. Your guardian angel is your companion, because like the person that says, prove it, that angel's still there. Is that angel going to be effective? No. Is it that angel's fault that it can't do its work? No. It's the person that says, now I do have to tell truthfully for the rest of that story, that I know that person very well. That person is a relative in my family. And when that person said that, I was like, okay, You just don't want to hear, you don't want to know. Now, since the passing of this person's mother, this person has decided, well, yeah, maybe I'll say some prayers, and yeah, maybe that'll help Mom. Well, all these years now later, this person himself has become a licensed reverend. This person says that every time he says his prayer, my mother's face is right in front of his. And we don't talk about the angelic realm, but I have a feeling that he's pretty open to it now. So you can always change your mind. You know, sometimes we get all caught up in, oh, I don't have to, and I don't want to. And sometimes that's just old. And when you know, for angels and things of metaphysics and energy work and lights and sound and vibration, for that all to be so much at the cutting edge for the past now 15 years, what does that say? And look at the world. We need other methods of healing. We need other methods of balancing. And when you look at all of these, it's all about personal choice. And everyone can learn something. Everyone can pull in your angel, call that angel in. All of these different modalities, if it's color therapy, if it's sound therapy, you can have your own chime, you can have your own bowl, you can go to people who do this kind of work. You can learn meditation. Meditation is not a big deal. Meditation is what we're going to do right here. It's just you allowing yourself to be open. You know, people ask me, how do you do that? How do you do that with the mediumship? Because I'm a medium. I do past life regressions, readings, and life between life regressions, and I also do energy work. And all of that is something that you can't touch, you can't feel, you can't see. But when I bring the information, people understand it. Now, how does that happen? Well, because there's a greater part of us. But each one of us have the ability to say, I want to tap into that. And we each will, if we allow ourselves. The other thing is when you do this work, you know that you sit and you allow and you open your senses. And when you get this information, like I'm telling you, I get the picture, it's almost like it's in your forehead, it's in your mind's eye. And I'm seeing it and understanding it, or the words are coming. Sometimes people actually hear the words, but the information just comes. Where does that come from? It's because you're open to it, and you're very sensitive, and you're listening, and you're sensing. When you're in this kind of a state, your senses are heightened. Your senses are heightened so that you hear, sense, and feel these things. But for every single person here, no matter what it is you want to do, if you just want to focus on bringing, I'm asking for healing energy, Creator, I'm asking for healing energy, my feet or my legs or my hip. You can do that. And expect it, and you have and the faith to know that you will receive it. So this is all part of what you can do. It's all your choice. Okay, so this is guided. So if you choose to participate, okay, you can eyes open, eyes closed. Everyone else, please close your eyes. Breathe. If you can, feel your feet on the floor. And we want to ground ourselves to the floor. You want to ground yourself to earth energy. That'll help to keep you balanced. And our intention is everything. We open our hearts, we open our mind, we open our soul to be one with Source. And I welcome in and I invite in my guardian angel to please sit to my side. And then you can picture what side you want them to sit. I invite my guardian angel in to sit to my side or right behind me. And just breathe at a regular pace. And just allow. I invite my guardian angel in to sit and be with me. And I am grateful. And Just allow yourself just to be in that space. And as we are here, our intentions may include, I ask for and I accept healing energy from Creator Source. I accept healing energy to gently flow down upon me, upon all of my physical body, all of my auric field, my physical, my mental, emotional, spiritual body. I accept healing energy, just like the lights that's shining down upon us now. I accept this healing energy. I release anything that no longer serves me in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. Just imagine this energy just dripping off of you like perspiration. And just breathe. And allow this healing energy. And guardian angel, I am grateful for you to be with me. I invite you to give me signs. Maybe you want to come to me in my dream time. I'd appreciate you helping me when I ask you for help. I appreciate all that we do together. And if you choose to, you could send love out to your angel. But if you have anyone that's close to your heart, if you have someone who's passed or someone who's ill that you are thinking about now, and you would like to send them some healing energy, you can do that right now, and I will be silent. So, as you begin to bring your awareness back very slowly, I know that some of you in the room may feel the energy of love back from your guardian angel, because I'm seeing yellow-orange lights around as if you've been surrounded by this loving, healing energy that your angels are sending back to you. Now, as you're gently bringing your awareness back, just open your eyes slowly as you bring your physical awareness back to your body. But the intention is for you to feel calmer, safer, and very much at peace. So bring your awareness back. Breathe, exhale. You can do this anytime you want. This is yours. You make it yours. Use whatever words you want. The more you include the angelic realm in your everyday activity, the more that they're there to help you. The more that when you really need help, it's not like, okay, it's okay. And besides that, they know, they can see what's coming, and they're going to be like, you know what, I'm calling for extra help right now because I see what's coming up. So the more you do this helps to center you from your day-to-day life. The more, I love this part, the more acts of service that you do, that you give of yourself to others. Now, there are the professions, all the careers of policeman, fireman, teacher, counselor, therapist, doctor, nurses, humanitarians, and the list can go on and on. The good neighbor, the guy who always helps everyone. The more goodwill and the more that you give of others, the more angelic help you have. The more you do, the more help you have. And what does that really mean? Well, if you ever really notice that the people who really do give a lot, don't they always seem to have a lot of energy? They do. And they're usually pretty doggone positive. And they don't let problems burden them. Have you ever noticed that? That's truly because they have the energy of the angels to literally support them, saying, come on, now you know, because tomorrow there's going to be, you're going to get a phone call from a friend who has devastating news, and you're going to be the guy to go there and help and be the shoulder to cry on, or to go help them to get through that. The more you do, the more you give, the more help you receive. And it's a wonderful thing. The more often you connect with the angels, and I'm going to use that meditate, or the other term that I love is sitting in the silence. The more you do that, the easier it is for you to get into that higher zone, and to get into that higher frequency. And sometimes when I ask the people who meditate on a regular basis, and this is one of the things that Spirit allowed me when I first started, because I couldn't sit still long enough to meditate. 5 minutes felt like, oh my gosh, is this a half an hour yet? Is I could always feel a lightness in my forehead. It was always here, and then it moved up to here. And it truly is, that's when you feel that your vibration is changing. Your vibration is actually raising, and you're actually feeling it. And I tell people, it's like you've had an alcoholic drink too fast and you get a little buzzed. That's the feeling. And if you've ever been in a meditation, or you're like, wow, you feel like you're off, your energy is like, what happened? You've just raised your vibration. The more often you're in that zone, you maintain your vibration at a higher and higher level, and that's when you can reach higher and higher and get greater information, finer information. So it actually comes to serve you well. The other part about when you work with with the angels, is that they help you to learn about yourself. They help you to be less self-serving and more giving to others. And in that spiritual growth, that's all the spiritual growth. So in the spiritual growth, it's not just about you becoming more one with your soul, more one with Creator, but your spiritual growth starts to open, and you begin to see the world with different eyes. When you see someone who is being nasty, when you see someone who's being selfish, when you see someone who's actually stealing, there's a part of you, you're going to be wary and be very careful, but the other part is you're not condemning. You know that person's got problems. That person has things that they really need to take care of, and they're not. So yes, you might avoid that person. Yes, you may even move away from that person, change the relationship with that person. But the point is, there's less and less condemnation. And in the grander scheme, truly being spiritual is more about forgiveness, compassion, honoring yourself, and honoring Creator and the greater picture of life. Now, for the way the world is today, we sure need a lot of that. We need a lot of compassion, forgiveness, and the other thing about this meditation, any meditation, is that when you're in this place of connecting truly with your soul and truly with Creator, and yes, bring in the divine, and yes, feel your heart and say, you know what? I'm doing the best I can. Continue to assist, to give me that strength. But when you're in there, you're strong. Just by being there and doing this, you're already opening up so much to your spiritual sense. If you can help those other people that you know, your family, your friends, your co-workers, your neighbors, and even the people you don't know. You know, you read the stories, you hear the stories in the paper, oh, this is happening over in this part of the world, or this is happening, you know, in the United States. And you can just say, you know what, I opened my heart and I'm sending love. I'm going to send the energy of love, you know, blessings to my friend who's having surgery, blessings to my in-law that doesn't have a job, blessings, and then blessings to all these people that are in need. And you are taking universal energy. You're working with your higher self and your soul, and on a very conscious level, you're making a choice to say, I'm sharing everything I've got, and I'm sending it out to help other people. Can't get any better than that. That's being a spiritual person. That's being a spiritual person. And it can take 5 minutes. It's always our intention. If your intention is to do good and to do the best you can, and how many times have you been in a situation and you're thinking, okay, I can do this, and all of a sudden someone gets you and they push that button and you're like, oh God, I thought I was better than that. Oh, that happened. Okay, forgive yourself. Breathe. And then, in the quiet of your heart and your mind, okay, you know what? Blessings to me, blessings to that person, blessings to me, blessings to the company, blessings to the neighbor, whatever it is. So this is all about taking your spirituality and using it. This is about working with the angelic realm. They're here for a reason. They've always been here. It's to our advantage to work with them. And see, the other part of human nature is like, well, I probably only have one or two to work with. It doesn't matter. Just if you start doing it, and you know what? And even if you say, I'm going to focus on me, that's okay, because when we heal ourselves, our energy, it's like cleaning up. And I love Charlie Brown and Pigpen. Think of Pigpen. Okay, well, here's this little mess. Walking around here takes this little mess, but that's his aura, right? That's his aura. But the worst, when you do kind things, or even if you just say, okay, oh yeah, you know what, and you learn something about yourself and you start to clean up your own act, it's really aspects of ourselves. When you start to clean that up, just picture Pigpen getting a little cleaner. Just picture, well, that's his aura. And then, oh, well, maybe I'll just be a little kind today. Well, yeah, that neighbor, okay. Or maybe there's someone on the bus that I always see, or someone at work. You're cleaning, you're being kinder, gentler, better, and you're changing, and that's your vibration. I'm using the imagery of Pigpen because it's just so obvious. But that's our energy. The more you can share, just, how about the little acts of kindness? It all makes a difference. It all makes a difference. So that's what the energies and the angels can do for you. Yes, the angels work with us through insight, with dreams, with intuitions. I have a feeling, I think I know, with revelations that are a flash. The energy of the angels is available to everyone, but only those who are open and conscious can be reached. How do I know when I am divinely inspired to take some action? With that new thought, or with that thought, or with a conviction that you have, you will feel goodness, you'll feel balanced, you'll feel warmth, and your heart center opens and you think, yeah, that's going to work. Why is it, I like this one, why is it some people see angels and others do not? Oh, that used to get me. In my early development, that's exactly one thing that I asked my soul, I asked my guides, and I asked the angels that are supposed to be around me, because I really don't see angels. I see things in my third eye, and I understand things, but I don't always see them like that in the physical. And I said, well, I'm supposed to be working with angels. I want to see them. I want to see them. Well, where did that come from? Big old ego. Where did that get me? Nowhere. Work for it. You don't need, and you know what they actually said? They said, well, you don't need to see us because you already believe in us. Like, thanks a lot. However, I have had several readings with people that don't know me, and somewhere in there they'll say, oh yeah, and by the way, you will see one day. And they don't even know what they said, and I know exactly what they mean. Yes, one day I will see spirits standing there. One day I will see the angels actually there. It's part of letting the ego go. Okay, so why is it that some people see angels and others do not? It's not your time. You're not ready yet. More spiritual growth is necessary. And the people that do, that they're open to that type of experience, that they really do have less ego, that their unconscious mind has already connected to the energy of the angels and they can see them, and that their conscious mind is going to use its strongest sense to perceive the angel and the messages, and that's, once again, that's being open. Okay. We have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to have us work with our Archangel Michael. I'm setting my timer to keep us on track. So once again, I have music. Do it.
It takes a while.
I can't push the button. It's not moving.
You just push it down.
I'm pushing the button down.
You push it down. Second one. It doesn't come on right away after you push it. If the light is on, it's probably on.
The light's not on.
See the light on the
No,
inside?
the light's not on.
You push the, on the far left, there's an on-off
So
button.
it's on the far left. Here. Here now it's on.
Once you turn it on, you have to wait.
It wasn't on, it turned off. Okay, so please, if you choose to. found this energy to be, to strengthen you. It's that healing energy from this angel. And as we work with this energy, if there's anything in your heart or anything on your mind that you would like forgiveness for yourself, or if there's a person or a situation that you would really like forgiveness with this person, with this situation, if you would just like to put it out there, ask Archangel Michael to work with you on this. Picture this as being healed. Set the intention that you're healing this situation, this assistance. You have the strength, you have the courage to do this together. Now it is your choice to call this energy, this angelic energy, ask this energy to come very close. Or have this maybe stand behind you. Be shoulder to shoulder with this energy. If you even needed to, you can ask this energy to go help my friend, go help my child. Help me help someone else. Whatever it is you need, you can convey that to Archangel Michael right now if you need to. Breathe and exhale, inhale, exhale. Allow those burdens to be gone. I know you're working on it. I know there's a lot of you releasing burdens. I can feel it. I can see it. There's a silver ring, like a band, almost like if you picture a beautiful wedding band. Picture this band around each one of your waists if you're participating. And if you want to picture a silver band as some kind of an imagery for Archangel Michael, that's what he's showing me. He's showing me a band for those who are participating. This is how close you are. This is the connection. This is the commitment that he's made to every one of you who've invited him in. Please know that he's made a commitment to work with you and to be with you. When you call, you don't always have to call him, and if you need to call him, call him. He will be there. The more often you work with him, the closer he'll be. It's instantaneous. Just continue to breathe. Feel this energy. If there's anything else you'd like to silently say to this energy as we're concluding our session here with him, might just say, I'll see you later. I'll call you later. Be together again soon. So gently be able to bring your energy back. Begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body. Breathe. You're able to move your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet. Did you all, I don't want to ask the questions, but just in the last 5 minutes, I saw these huge angelic wings, and it was like scooping everything up and just taking it up. And I truly feel that a lot of people let some burdens go. Does that make sense? I saw it. And the beautiful thing was it was like a silver band. Is this, I'm thinking, it was a silver band. It reminded me of a Greek wear where they used to have the robes like this, and then they'd have the band to hold the garments together. And everyone had this silver band, but it was, and then it made me think of a wedding ring. And wedding rings are commitments. And I've never had that imagery before, and I think that is amazing. So I would run with it. Keep it. So these are tools that you can use for yourself anytime you want. Meditation doesn't have to be a big deal, but you will find that the more often you do it, the easier you get into that state, the more you say, show me, tell me, and you be one with it. Be one with your soul. The more you're one with your soul, the more that you get your intuitions, you get your hunches, and when you work with your hunches, they are for your best and highest good. And good things happen, and you're like, wow, boy, am I glad I listened to myself. So, a couple of things. Our time is up. I thank you all for being here. I have a CD that I forgot to bring a copy in, but it's out there. And it's a global healing. Like, duh, do we need global healing or what? So it's a global healing meditation, and it's about 28 minutes long, and it's guided, so you'll hear me speaking. And we do a lot, there's always healing for you first, and then healing for the world. And then there's a second meditation that's 7 minutes of serenity, just like what we did to calm ourselves down. So that's out there. I have a sheet of paper out there if you'd like. On my newsletter, I send out once a month. And then there's another sheet if you were interested in any kind of a session hour, either a half an hour session. If you just put your name and phone number, I'll call you later and then we could set something up. So I thank you all very much for being here. I really would ask you to use your tools because you all have the tools. And you can never ask for too much. If you have a need, just start asking and expect it. Have faith in your connection. We're all here for a reason. And if you weren't supposed to be here, then you wouldn't be. So take advantage of every tool that we have. And you are all loved very much. And that's our hardest thing for us to get over. Oh, why me? They don't mean me. They mean everyone but me. No, they mean you. All right, thank you all.